Good day. In this video lesson, I'm going to discuss the significance of the study in relation to your academic research. What is significance of the study in academic research? It presents the importance of your research. It gives you opportunity to prove the study's impact in your field of research, the new knowledge it contributes, and the people who will benefit from it. How to write significance of the study? First thing to do, number one, you have to use your research problem as your starting point. For instance, I have here my research problem, which is what is the level of consent of the stakeholders at XY school on the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19 and the factors affecting their level of consent. You have to ask yourself, how will the answers to my problem be beneficial? And you have also to imagine or assume that you have already finished the research study. Discovering the level of consent of the stakeholders and factors affecting on it may lead to this result, adaptation of modified guidelines and policies. Second, state how your research will contribute to the existing literature in the field. Think of the things that were not explored by the previous research, then write how your research tackles those unexplored ideas. Here is my example. This study will provide the level of consent of the stakeholders and the factors affecting on it at XY school on the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Third, explain how your research will benefit society. Think of how the results of your research will change something in your society or in your field. Fourth, mention the specific persons or institutions who will benefit from your study. Okay, the content of the step 3 and 4, I have here the example, which is through this research, the policymaker, internal stakeholders such as division officers, principal, teaching and non-teaching staff, and students, as well as the external stakeholders such as the parents and people from the community will further realize to create a modified guidelines and policies. 5. Indicate how your study may help future studies in the field. Moreover, the analysis that is presented by this study will convey valuable information for future researchers that is also targeted for the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Putting them together, class, I have now created or completed the significance of the study. This study, okay, uh, putting them together, this study will provide the level of consent of the stakeholders and the factors affecting on it at XY school on the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Through this research, the policymaker, internal stakeholders such as division officers, principal, teaching and non-teaching staff, and students, as well as external stakeholders such as the parents and people from the community will further realize to create a modified guidelines and policies. Moreover, the analysis that is presented by this study will convey valuable information for future researchers that is also targeted for the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Okay, I have now my significance of the study. You can also write that in this manner. This study will provide the level of consent of the stakeholders and the factors affecting on it at XY school on the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Specifically, this research will benefit the following policymakers. Revisit the policies and guidelines and establish a modified guidelines and policies. Principal and teaching and non-teaching staff implement, promote, and establish modified guidelines and policies. Students and parents will benefit from the modified policies and guidelines through the options as recommendation. People from the community prevent the rowdiness of the students or to establish crowd control. Future researcher, the results of this study can be used as literature review for another study in other schools, which is also targeted for the implementation of face-to-face learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. Okay, you can write your significance of this study in two ways or in two manners. Okay, thank you. That's all. Good day again. Hope that you can already create your significance of the study. That's all.